Hi, I'm Delusion Dispeller, back to talk to you a little bit more about Stockholm Syndrome and the learned state of helplessness that keeps us stuck in abusive relationships. In some cases, a person cannot get out of a relationship, and in those situations, boundaries need to be created and enforced. In cases where the only thing stopping the person from leaving is their false belief that they can't leave, then they need to seek counseling that will challenge and replace those false beliefs and self-talk. Make a plan B and get out of Dodge. That's my advice. You do not need to stay with an abuser. If you choose to, that's your choice. I can't tell you what to do. But if you choose to, you need to have really firm boundaries in place and make sure that you are protected as far as physically and otherwise. Okay. Now, the thing about experiencing occasional kindness from the attacker, it's another thing that keeps people stuck in these types of situations. Narcissists are very skilled at turning on the charm as needed and as it benefits them, or makes them appear to be the good guy or the hero or the rescuer. When the victim experiences those moments when the sex was good, they were wined and dined, their mate was otherwise playing the hero, that creates doubt in their mind. They start thinking about, well, yeah, he did this, but I remember when he did something nice. So you start doubting all the bad things that were done, and you start rationalizing them and justifying them, and all the things that were done and experienced and said to you. And you start painting a picture in your mind of this person that you want him to be or her to be, that they really aren't. When a person feels trapped and stuck and afraid, and the victimizer shows them little bits of kindnesses here and there, those little things come to mean a lot to them. So what happens is, say you were beaten by your husband or your wife, you were hit over the head with something, or something was thrown at you, or they threw something at you or at your children or whatever, and then a couple hours later they say, let's go order a movie. Let's go get some popcorn. You want some ice cream? Hey, I'll make us all sundaes. Whatever. That's just wrong. That is called Stockholm Syndrome creation. You start looking at, oh, well, he made me an ice cream sundae, and we watched TV together. And I'm talking about on a consistent basis, not once in a while. People do lose their temper. But people are not vindictive and nasty and cold and mean and abusive if they're not abusers. They're just not. As the Bible says, by their fruit you shall know them. You will know somebody by what they do. It's just plain and simple. So when they show you these little kindnesses here and there, you blow them up in your mind to have them mean a lot more than they really mean. Like, oh, he must really love me because he made me an ice cream soda. He must really want to work on this marriage because he watched movies with us. He must really care because he took the kids out to the ball game. You know, that kind of stuff. This can even include the victim saying that he or she is convinced that the attacker has a heart because he fed them once in a while. He let us have food. We went without it for about a few days, but then he finally gave in and gave it to us like on the 4th day. Or he put his arm around me after he gave me a black eye and told me he was sorry. He tried to comfort me. Or he lets them outside for a while. Like in the case of somebody that's trapped in their home, that the guy or the woman is so jealous and afraid they're cheating on them all the time, they don't let them go anywhere, do anything, get a job, go to school, nothing. They keep them locked in the house, and sometimes barefoot and pregnant, or just stuck there. In the case of a woman abusing a guy, there's actually been women that have tied guys up in a room and not let them out. And then they would let him out a few days after. Or if it's the case of a woman barefoot and pregnant, well, he let me go shopping once. You know, and that sounds ludicrous when I think about it now, but I do understand that there are people really in these situations, and in their mind they justify abuse by saying that it's not all the time, that at least he let me have this one little, glimmer of hope that he wasn't this vicious person I thought he was. Sometimes even years after we get out of a narcissistic relationship, We still struggle with our belief system that has taught us to take care of, for instance, aging parents that are abusive towards us and always were, or to be there for our husbands or our wives because they suddenly got cancer or whatever, but every time you go over there, they're nasty to you and they remind you of all the things they didn't like about you, or your friends that guilt you because you didn't do such and such for them, or your children that said you were a lousy parent and you owe it to them. You don't deserve that. And it could be your very religious beliefs or just inner beliefs and a desire to be kind that keep you stuck and going back for more abuse. This is not what you were put on the planet to do. I'm going to tell you some very tough truths right now. Now let me check and see my time here. Okay, we're good. First of all, a true narcissist does not, cannot, and will not ever love you. They can't. They don't have it in them. I don't believe it for a second. I don't care what other websites you've gone to, whatever other videos you've seen where so-and-so worked out their marriage or whatever. A true narcissist does not have the wiring in them to love. Can it be created? It can be taught. I believe that. I really do. But it takes an awful lot. Unless there's like a miraculous conversion that I believe only God can do in somebody, that wiring was never connected in the first place. And unless new wires are created with the willingness of the narcissist at some point, usually when they are at the bottom of the barrel, they've lost everything and everybody, and nobody wants anything to do with them, and they really believe that the problem is in themselves, then there's a chance they can change. But it's extremely, extremely rare in the case of a true narcissist. I'm not talking about people with narcissistic traits. I'm talking about a true blue narcissist, almost psychopath, you could say. Number 2, it is not your job to take care of someone that abuses you with words or physical actions, such as insulting you, throwing things at you, blaming you for what's not your fault, putting guilt trips on you for not visiting them enough or not doing enough for them. It's not your job to take care of that person. It's just not. That's why we have agencies that do that. Number 3, narcissists turn on and off their good deeds and their good actions, and it's always to manipulate and control you or someone else. It's not because deep down in the recesses of their heart, I know they really do care for me. No, they don't. They don't know how. That was never done for them. How can you do for somebody else what never was done for you unless you are taught it, or unless you just happen to be a kind person, which narcissists are far from kind. Number 4, you need to let go, let them go, get yourself out of there, let yourself leave, face your fears of being alone and on your own, and get free. Stop with the excuses, stop with the justifications, stop with the, oh, I think he'll change, just give it time, whatever. Once you've done everything you can do, you've gone to counseling, you've read the books, you've tried and tried for years and years, it's time to get out. It's time to move on. I did it. It was hard, wasn't easy, but I did it, and I survived. And it only took me a couple of years in my case. I don't know that it'll take you that little bit of time, but you never know. So, that hopefully will clarify a few more things about why people stay in abuse situations. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Hopefully, you will make a good decision to salvage what's left of your life and move on out of there and get out of the situation before you truly become entrapped and stuck and entrenched. God bless. Have a great day or night, whatever it is there. Thanks for watching.